I'm with Rich Rossway. He's the lone Republican candidate in the special election for the 109th State House seat. Rich, good morning.
Good morning, Andrew.
Thanks for being here. And of course, there are 4 Democrats on the Democratic side for the primary, but you're the only Republican on here. But we want to talk to you about how things are going early in the campaign for you.
Well, you know, I'm really glad you mentioned that, because some people thought, gee, you weren't at the debate, at the Democratic debate, and why was that? And you know, and while we don't have an opponent in the primary, we're hard at work. Number one, organizing your campaign is certainly a job in itself. But I've been knocking on doors, and I think that's the best thing that I can do to meet the people at the 109th. A lot of times people ask me about, well, what are your issues? And my response is, well, that's for the people to decide. And so I've gotten some really good feedback and great reaction from a lot of the residents throughout the 109th about what concerns that they have.
Okay, we'll talk about those concerns right now. What are those concerns?
You know, one of the top issues is, of course, education, and you know, that's very near and dear to me, as I've been on the Marquette School Board for 17 years, the last 5 years as president. Concern with funding, concern with teachers and the demand on their time, some of the retirement negative effects that have happened with teachers, and just overall funding and the threat of charter schools have been a really big concern. And how are those charter schools going to be paid for when public schools are so strapped? Another big issue is auto insurance, and I've done some research on that, and I've been down to Lansing and been updated on some of the legislative actions that are being anticipated. But Michigan has the highest auto insurance rates in the country by far. And no fault is part of that, but there are no caps on that insurance, and that resonates with everybody when they talk about just how much their insurance costs here in Michigan, and that's a huge priority. And I don't think it'll be an easy tackle, simply because there's a lot of turf involved with these things. This is the way it's been forever, so hopefully we can get some kind of a fix. And I think the last one really is our veteran issues. People are concerned with the Jacob Eddy home and just veterans in general. We have thousands of veterans in the 109th. I served in the U.S. Army as a military policeman way back when, in 1973 through 1976. And so, you know, we have to be able to advocate for our veterans, and that's something I'm definitely going to be focused on.
Now, why did you get into the race here for this special election, of course, replacing the late John Keevala?
And you know, I knew John. We worked with him a lot through the schools. I admired him greatly, and what I admired most is his willingness to work across the aisle. I've been working with Senator Casperson and Ed McBroom on my campaign, and what really prompted me was just that that aura of divisiveness politically throughout our country and even in the state. And I always go back to, in my 17 years on the school board, nobody ever asked me if I was a Democrat or a Republican and labeled you. And while certainly filing as a Republican, and I did so by and large due to the Republican Party stance on right to life, and I did receive the right to life endorsement here in Michigan, we need to be able to work with each other, and we have to take those hats off of whether it's a Democrat or a Republican and do what's best for the 109th. Just like in the school board, you focus on the taxpayers in Marquette, you know, in the Marquette area public schools district, our teachers and our students. And the same thing is with the 109th. Whatever is best for the 109th, and it does not matter what your politics are.